Happy Halloween, guys.
Yes, All Hallows Eve to you too.
Thank you. I'm a Green Lantern. What are you?
A priest.
Priest.
Some of us have decided not to get dressed up for Halloween.
That's sad.
I was wearing this, yeah, like a, I don't know, like a resident.
All right, cool. So it's the best day of the year, yay. And then tomorrow is a holy day of obligation, All Saints Day, when the Mass schedule is 7 a.m., 9 a.m., 7 p.m., all in the church. It is also First Friday, so we have adoration in the church from after the 9 till 1 o'clock, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Following day, All Souls, not a holy day of obligation, 9 o'clock Mass in the church. Nice day to come to Mass. Monday
is our Mass of Remembrance at 7 o'clock. I think we'll have Mass in the church on Monday.
In the morning?
In the morning as well.
All right. We better put that in the announcement.
We'll announce that.
Okay. Then
Sunday we have we will be hosting a Mosaic faith presentation. Mosaic, again, is an interfaith organization of high school students, and we will be presenting our liturgical year as a way of explaining elements of the Catholic faith to young people from different faith traditions.
Right. And then November 10th, just a reminder, Monsignor's 35th anniversary, celebrated at the 11:30 Mass with a reception to follow.
Afterwards. Now, one thing that we never talked about.
No, I was going to do that after we did dates.
Oh, after that. Okay.
Yeah, switch the order. Go ahead, Monsignor. Called by name.
No, that's all right.
That's where we are now.
Are we
there?
Oh, okay.
Are we there yet?
Okay. Starting this weekend and next weekend especially, the Diocese of Trenton will be hosting a program called Called by Name, and it is a vocation program in which we will be asking our parishioners to prayerfully consider those young men between the ages of 16 and I believe 40 who they feel might make good priests.
I'm going to nominate you.
And,
thank you.
Some people cannot get over the spirit of the holiday. And so there'll be pew cards in the pews where you could write down the name, and these will be then turned over to our vocation teams, and the vocation teams will reach out to them just to see if they would consider it and invite them to join discernment groups to help them prayerfully discern, is the Lord calling them to priesthood. I think this is a very important program because you know, it's one thing to say there is a vocation crisis, but there's also another element that vocation crisis is now with us. And a lot of people in our parish and in the Northeast don't believe that because we seem to have a lot of priests. The problem is many of our parishes are really being supported by retired priests, and sooner or later those retired priests get called home. And so where you have 2 priests, you might end up with only 1, and where you only have 1 priest, you might not have 1. And then everybody who has their favorite Mass or the time fits their schedule might have to arrange themselves around the time that the Mass can be celebrated. So I would ask everyone to begin praying very fervently. And as I've said many times from the altar, do not pray like the Italians who pray for vocations from other families. Pray for a vocation from your own family.
Yep.
Have you been praying? You got 2 sons.
I know. I have been talking to them since they were very small about whether they would have a vocation. And I keep on doing it. I'd be happy for either one of them to do it.
Wonderful.
Yeah. You want them? You can have them now.
No, they have to be ordained.
But get them, like, is there a place to send them where they can go and, like...
In the past, that's what they sent it to the church, to the cathedrals, and then by the time they were ordained.
Exactly. Mine are 16 and 19. I think they're ripe candidates. I don't know. Their rooms are pretty ripe.
Well,
Do you want them to be a priest, or do you want them to go
Yes.
to do something else?
Both. No, they're darlings. I love them. But again, I would be happy for them to be priests.
It's all this paper.
This paperwork. So we got the Martin Luther King Jr. Day will be here before we know it, and it's January 20th. But the 19th, the Clergy Association has a prayer service, interfaith prayer service and presentation that we're going to be doing. There is an essay contest for students from grade 9 through 12 to write about the challenges of making Dr. King's dream a reality. And there is a cash prize involved, $150 for the first place winner, $75 for the second place winner, and the essay that wins will be read at the program that we'll be having on the 19th. So there's information on Facebook about that. It will be in the bulletin next week. So if you have any students, grades 9 through 12, ask them to consider it. It's a worthy thing to be thinking about, first of all, and then maybe it'll move us into action too. We need to hear from the kids. And then in 2 weeks, November 13th, we have our first Children of Abraham session, which will be at the Islamic Center, also on Georgia Road, just right down the road from us. You have to pre-register. There is a flyer on Facebook, and it will be in the bulletin next week. And there's like dress requirements also, so please pay attention to that. But the first session is Your Religion Does What? Now, I know you're on the committee, Monsignor, so what do they mean by that?
Well, we wanted to highlight some of the peculiar customs or traditions that each of our faith traditions have, especially those that need to be explained, because our faith traditions all have those things that, as a member of the faith, we grew up with. I guess an example would be the concept of the precious blood. I remember before I entered the seminary working for this one gentleman who was my supervisor, and he asked me, "So what are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, well, I'm going to the Stations of the Cross at Precious Blood." And he kind of gave me this look, like, ooh, you know. And I realized he wasn't Catholic, and it really sounds very difficult to appreciate. Of course, from a Catholic perspective, when we speak of the precious blood, we're speaking of the blood of Christ that was shed for all humanity from the cross, and also the blood of Christ we receive in Holy Communion. But for those who are not Christian, and especially not Catholic, it could be a little on the peculiar side. So we will be discussing things like that.
Excellent. All right, cool. So the people who participate in that, we have a Muslim representation, Fatima Jafari. Monsignor is the Catholic rep. Rabbi Melinda Pankin from Temple Sheriameth is our Jewish rep. And then Reverend John Elsenson is the non-Catholic Christian rep. He's from the Baptist Church. And I see we have a fellow named Salib Sassar.
Yes.
And is he just coming for this one? The one here, or is he on all of them?
No. This is, she is a speaker, I believe. Oh, okay. And he will be speaking on what Jerusalem means to all our faiths. And that will be on March 4th here at St. Robert Bellarmine.
Okay.
And he is from Jerusalem, and he is part of the faculty at Monmouth University.
Cool. All right. So some of the other topics are why do I believe, what do I believe, in interfaith community dialogue, and potluck dinner. That'll be fun. And then the last one is water and our faith traditions, because everybody uses water. So yeah, but our first one is November 13th, so please come out for that. It really is it's fun and it's very interesting. I love sitting there and listening. There's an opportunity for questions and responses and little refreshments. But again, for the first one, you have to register, actually also for the one at Temple Sheriameth, because there are limited spaces.
And I think this is a good opportunity to know other traditions. Just before we were here, we had a conversation about extremisms, and we think that others are the bad people, but we need to know who they are. So in order to overcome those prejudices that we have, because we don't know the people. And we follow what we say on TV, on the news, but there's something more than that. This is a good opportunity to know our own traditions and others' traditions.
Absolutely.
And especially understanding that we all are part of the faiths that have flowed from Father Abraham, how many of us have elements of each other's, at least roots. What, and I think that is so important.
It is. We are all from one family, different branches.
Okay.
I think that's it. Well, this one, should we talk about that? Because is it on the computer or not? We're doing a collection for the...
Oh, yes. Well, it will be on the computer. And that is, we just received word, and several other groups within the community have received word, that at the joint base, which is Msgr and Fort Dix, there are many families that really rely on a food bank to make ends meet. These are families of...
military families.
Military families. And therefore, so once again, we will be participating with several other organizations in the community for a food drive. That information will be coming out shortly to bring food and a food drive to support these military families who basically should not have to go hungry. I mean, it's a scandal that this is a reality at this time. And therefore, we ask you please to keep an eye on it, out for information about it, because it's not like clean out your pantry of canned goods. There are certain foods that they will be looking for. And of course, as we get closer to Thanksgiving and Christmas, we do have our projects for the food baskets, and also opportunities for families to sign up to deliver both food baskets as well as meals for Thanksgiving.
All right, cool.
I think that's about it.
Yeah, I think so for this week. You have anything else?
No. Enjoy Halloween.
Yes.
Yeah, happy Halloween.
God bless. We'll see you at Mass.